In other news, incoming Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro is now re-emphasizing his campaign promises to Israel. The newly elected official has declared that Israel has nothing to fear and that the Jewish state can have faith in the new Brazil, even at international forums like the UN. Joining us with more on this is Ambassador Yosef Livne. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So my first question to you is, do you think Bolsonaro's support for Israel will pave the way for other nations?
Look, I think that on the whole, Latin America is not exactly a hostile place. Insofar as support for certain Israeli policies, or whatever Bolsonaro said that he would do, like moving the embassy, we'll have to wait and see. Even though there are other center-right governments in the region, some have different policies and different positions than Israel does, or that Mr. Bolsonaro has said that he holds. We'll have to wait and see. I think that his position, his openly pro-Israeli position, is important. If it will have a direct effect on other countries, I'm not so sure. But we'll have to wait and see how he, interacts with his colleagues in the continent. To what degree Middle East is going to figure in the discussions. There are many issues that concern Latin American nations, South American nations, and the Middle East may be one of them. I don't know that it is the most important one, though.
What do you believe is Bolsonaro's vision for Israeli-Brazilian ties?
Well, I think that he views the relations with Israel as something which is important to Brazil. Brazil is a regional superpower. It's a very strong nation. It has a large economy. The economic ties between Israel and Brazil are very strong. We should remember that, for instance, in December, there will be new direct flights between São Paulo and Israel. So, yes, definitely there's a lot to be said about furthering Israeli-Brazilian relations in terms of commerce, in terms of culture, technology. I think he views Israeli know-how and Israeli technological prowess as something that Brazil can take advantage of. And of course, the political issues will come to the foreground, I'm sure, in discussions between Israeli and Brazilian officials. And we'll try to see if Brazil adopts a position which is closer to our position than it used to be in the past.
How powerful do you think Brazil's voice is at the UN and other international forums?
Look, Brazil is one of the founding members of the UN. It's a tradition that the Brazilian president is the first one to speak when the General Assembly starts. Brazil has played an important role when the partition resolution was adopted. The Brazilian foreign minister back then was the president of the General Assembly. Brazil's voice is heard. Does everyone follow its position? Not necessarily. Brazil has one of the most capable foreign ministries in the world. Itamaraty, as it is known, is a very professional outfit, and its diplomats are very well respected worldwide. And I think that they will have to translate the position of the president into concrete policies. We'll have to wait and see.
There's a lot of controversy surrounding Bolsonaro. Can you talk about how this will play out? Netanyahu is going to his ceremony, to his initiation. Can you talk about what the controversy might imply for the future?
Oh, I don't know. He has made some very outspoken declarations and statements. I think that, on the whole, his positions are what we would call right-wing positions. And on certain issues, his positions tend to be closer to the Israeli positions rather than farther away. I think that it's an opportunity to try and build on the similarities of views between the president-elect of Brazil and the Israeli prime minister, and see how we can reinforce and cement the relations even further.
Well, thank you very much for your insight today. It's great you're with us.
Thank you very much for having me.